Welcome everyone to Talented Universe on this 16th day of December. This is our second podcast for today, so we're just rolling along. And I'd just like to say hi to Marcia, my co-host today. How are you doing, Marcia?
I'm doing great. Yeah, December 16th. What do you know about that? It's almost the end of the year. Wow.
It is totally crazy. So just out there in cyberspace, I just got a notice that one of our Facebook links died and it's not working. So I hope you're not there trying to listen to us. Hope you're on YouTube so we can actually look at your questions and stuff. So hopefully that will be the case. But I would really like to introduce our special guest today, David Eves, actor.
Oh, hello, guys.
It's going to be a fun thing today. So you're doing good, David?
Yep, I'm doing real good. Getting real close to Christmas, which is nice.
Yes, which obviously you like because of your last name, you know, and the night before and stuff. Is like, yeah, whatever.
I like the day before the most.
Yeah, I bet so. But just going back, I'm going to use Marcia's Wayback Machine. I'm going to borrow it for a minute. You grew up in Mobile, Alabama. Is that correct?
I did. Mobile, Alabama, which is not. It's Alabama, but not the Alabama everyone thinks about. It's on the coast, so it's like near Gulf Shores and kind of in line with the Panhandle of Florida. So we get a lot of like French and it's a little bit. The water culture is a little bit different than the normal Alabama culture.
Mm-hmm. That is true. I've been to that area. I went to a convention in was it Gulfport, I believe. Yeah. And so I've been there. I've been a couple of other cities in Alabama and Mississippi. So right in that area. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you
nice
grew up there, and let's see if I remember right. You got the acting bug a little bit down there. Is that correct?
I did. So I never really thought about acting, and then we did a 5th grade play, which I was really excited about, and it was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I booked Charlie. And
you got to play Charlie?
Yeah, I did. I'm not going to sing him for you guys because I don't really have a singing voice anymore, but I had to sing, and I still remember most of the songs from that play. But that's where I got the first, like, wow, this is really cool. And then I tried to do some plays around the city, and didn't quite work out. And it wasn't really encouraged because, you know, from the South, you know, the arts are not really a big focus, you know, and it's kind of crazy to think you'd want to be in it. So I always had the bug, but I didn't really revisit it until about college. Didn't do any acting or anything, but just started kind of looking into it quite a bit, and got my engineering degree and then worked for a year and a half doing engineering and developmental real estate. And I was just sitting down one day, and I was like, I want to be in the same spot 40 years from now, and you're going to be mad that you didn't take a chance on the stuff you want to do. So I sold my house and everything and moved to LA first.
So you just got rid of everything.
I did.
I took a leap of faith.
Including the girlfriend.
Oh, including the girl? She didn't want to go with you?
No, well, you got to understand the kind of.
I wasn't going to say what I was saying. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you know, she was kind of, you know, very. I mean, she's actually the only girlfriend that got married. And I was like, all right, thank God, glad she's happy. Where I was like, good for her, kind of thing. But she, you know, she's from Birmingham, Alabama, and then she had a big family, and they were very.
And there too. Okay.
Yeah, and to present the idea to leave. I didn't want to do two things. One, I didn't want to take her away from her family, and then two, I also didn't want to have her suffer through the embarrassment of her once stable engineering boyfriend leaving to go pursue acting on what most people thought was a whim. There's only a couple people throughout my life that knew that I always wanted to do that. I think my brother and my best friend Wade.
And that was it.
Yeah, that was it. Yep, that was it. And to tell you the truth, I think it was a good decision. Saved that poor girl a lot of probably embarrassment for the first couple of years.
Yeah, it is tough. I have a lot of actor friends, and you know, we've had a lot of people on the show, and it's tough sometimes.
Yeah.
It
Uh,
is
it's
tough.
yeah, it's one of those things where, if I didn't love it, I don't know why I'd be in it. Like some people you meet that they don't really, they may not love it as much. I'm like, there's not enough good news to go around this business to not be here if you don't love it. That was always my attitude.
Yeah, and I'll throw this up because I hadn't read these questions yet, but this is the question that we just went through, and it was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That was your
Yeah.
elementary school play. So I just wanted to throw that up. So Elizabeth, I didn't read your question first, so don't think that I stole your question again.
Well, I'll answer the other part of that question. Would I ever do it again? Yes, I would. But funny enough, I had to turn down an audition for the Broadway play of Wicked because it was like a short window of time. But I was, I think, Firo, is that how you pronounce the name of the prince?
Mhm.
So I got into some singing lessons, and I had like 3 days to try to learn how to sing. And not the coaches were like, you don't have the inability to sing, but I wasn't up to the par with what I was going to be competing with on Broadway. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's better to not to bow out than it is to submit a terrible audition because I had been working real hard to get in that casting company. So I would definitely do it again. That's a very, very fun play, and obviously it's got a good place in my heart because it gave me the bug originally. But if I did it again, I would definitely do a few months of singing lessons before I go do that. And I probably couldn't play Charlie anymore. I'd probably have to do maybe Willy Wonka at this point. Maybe I might not be.
Maybe. Who knows? You
Yeah.
never know. It could be, it could be something else. And Elizabeth asks also, who you started out as a background actor. Do you feel that networking with other behind the scenes helped you get a foothold in the entertainment industry?
Well, yes and no. One background kind of afforded you the opportunity to get on the major sets early and see
Mhm.
how they work. So that was very cool. I did background for Star Trek. Actually, the first person I ever saw that was one of my idols was Brad Pitt doing background for Babylon back in the day.
Mm.
Um, and it is nice, I think, because like you do realize the importance of background acting, and because I do it, I do watch it a lot when I watch movies, and you can kind of tell when they're into it or not, and how much they add to it. Because I don't know if you've ever watched a low budget film and they don't have any background acting, and it's just like two people in a club bobbing their heads with nothing going on. Like you realize how important they are. But as far as like and on the set of Babylon, they did pull a background actor up to make him a principal actor. That was a cool fluke, but that's kind of a shot in the dark. I feel like you got to
Yeah.
get real lucky. But background acting did well. I guess we're background. It was a good way to like see how some of these like real professional stars work because I was doing the scene where Brad Pitt, not to spoil the movie, but it's been out for a few years. Do you think it's okay?
Oh, I think it's okay. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, cover your ears for 2 minutes. Yeah.
But Brad Pitt's about to commit suicide, and I just remember watching him act, and I remember being like, "That's it." And I didn't know anything about real acting at the point. And then as I studied acting, I was like, "That's genius!" Like you watch this thing, you can tell that he's fighting back the thought of the suicide he's about to do, but it seems so natural and kind of under the radar. At first, I was like, "That's what he gets paid to do," but then it translates well. So I had to learn from those guys a little bit and see how they act on set and stuff like that, which is really, really cool. And but I do think that the networks of background acting and principal acting, they do separate at some point, and I haven't found it yet, but I don't know if the pyramid to the top of the acting game is going to be found if you strictly stick to background acting. So,
Mhm.
does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me go into a little bit of vertical fun stuff.
Okay.
Uh, when did you do your first vertical? Or how many have you done? When was your first
Cool.
one? And
I've done about
not
20.
hmm?
I think in May of not this past year, but the year before, and it was "Please
So
Kiss Me."
2020, so 2024.
Yep, I believe
Mhm.
so. And that was cool because I'd been seeing them pop up, and I didn't know anything about them. It was still kind of within the first year that they came to the U.S.
Yes. Mhm.
Um, and so I booked the role and I had no idea what it was like. And the when I got on set, I'd worked with probably someone that y'all interviewed before, maybe Noemi Sykes. She's pretty big in verticals.
Mhm.
And and she kind of like was like, well, this is how they work. They do like 10 scenes a day and blah 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 blah. It's kind of constant, long days, whatever like that. And sure enough, it was. And it was kind of the nice thing about it was it was like acting boot camp, because you got to do, like, on one scene you're getting engaged, on the other scene you're like mourning a loved one, and then you're angry about the guy that's gonna kind of screw you over, and then you got to go back to being naturally in love again. So it was a lot. It was an adjustment, but yeah, the first one was a good. Unfortunately, it was a really good group of people. So
Well, that definitely helps.
Yeah.
So on that, and then I'll go to Marcia. After you did the first one, and as you said, you had no idea what you were getting into.
Yeah.
And either a friend, relative, or something asked what you did. What did you just do? How did you, and you said that you were in a vertical drama and they gave you a funny look maybe, or a blank look. How did you explain it to them? Or did you explain it to them?
Sometimes I don't. But the way I do normally is like I say kind of I usually just call them soap operas. They ask me kind of what it is. It's a kind of a soap opera. And how, and I really just talk. They're more interested in like how to watch it and what the medium is. And I was like, well, it's really just like a feature film that they cut into small segments that people can watch at little bits and times on their way to work or something like that, wherever they do try to watch them. But for the most part, I just say it's like a soap opera type thing, because that seems to translate the best.
Yeah, usually. Yeah, that's what most people say. Marcia, I'll go ahead to you.
Well, thank you. So you talked about doing some background work, and you skipped over the Star Trek, which really caught my
yeah.
Yeah, I did too, but I was going to let
We're all
Marcia do
super
that.
geeks here. We're super
Yeah.
sci-fi. So what Star Trek?
It
Tell
was-
me more.
I forget that Picard, Star Trek Picard. And the cool thing about Star Trek is, like, you think it's all CGI, but no, they build the ships, and so all the sets are like you're inside of the ship, which is really cool, and all the makeup is done exactly how you see it, which is cool. I will tell you a funny story. I had to use the bathroom, and everybody's just in this warehouse together because it's the studio, and Phil Sir Patrick, I forget what's his last name, Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart. He had to go to the bathroom at the same time, and he had his aide with him. And I went to go grab the door handle at the same time, and I looked up, and it was Patrick. And I was like, all right, I guess he goes first. And then the aide was like, yeah, kind of, all right, whatever. And then I got to talk to him after, but just briefly. But he's very, very nice. But it was a very funny, awkward moment where I was like, oh, well, I think he gets to go first.
I think he might. Yes, Captain.
Captain.
It's funny. We would call him the Picard. Those are for women fans who really are, admiring of his work. We call him the Picard. But yes, that is super cool. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
And now you were in Mobile, but then you went to New York.
Yes.
And I think it had something to do with a visit, and it kind of blossomed.
Yeah, so I did. So like I said, I was working as an engineer in like an industrial building company. So we built big warehouses and stuff like that. And on the side, I was doing real estate, and it was going pretty well, but I was getting kind of burnt out because I don't know how anybody else feels, but the way I was feeling is like you're not living your life the way you want to, and so that kind of like started to weigh on me a little bit. And so I took a trip to New York to visit some friends, and I just remember being in New York for the first time as an adult, and I was like, this is where I gotta be. This is the energy of the city is just like it was just cool to be in a place where it was like you can kind of do anything if you wanted to. So I went back home, and I was thinking I was gonna move to New York, and then I did a modeling competition, and I did decently well there, enough to think that I could do it. And so there was an agency that wanted to sign me, but they wanted to sign me once I moved out to LA. So then I changed to go to LA. And so I moved out to LA, for about 6 months. That's when I did the most of the background stuff, and I did some in New York when I got there. But and then I got a call back for this commercial, which I thought was a huge deal at the time, but probably wasn't worth going to New York for a callback. But it's for Untuck It T-shirts. So so I went to New York. I was supposed to stay for a week. Ended up staying for 2 months. You know, and when I got to New York, it kind of occurred to me, it's like, okay, you do have an engineering degree, but I made a deal with myself. I was like, you're not going to take a 9-to-5 job or anything that distracts from why you're here. I was like, you can always go back and do well if you need to, but you're not going to take another job that distracts from why you're here. And so I was like, well, I could be here and I could model and make ends meet modeling while I try to get my foot in the door with acting. And I had started this is right after COVID. And so I moved to New York within like 6 months of being in LA. And then the business was booming at the time, but I knew no one. I remember showing up to Hollywood for the first time, be like, all right, I'm here, but where the heck is it? Like, no one's talking to me, no one's doing anything. And New York was nice because modeling kind of helped me get into commercials. And then from commercials and stuff, I met other people that knew agents and stuff, and I ended up booking my first short film. And then you know, kind of running through the ringer. And then the strikes happened, so everything was dead for another. Hey, whoa, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, a dog came in. But anyway, and then after the strikes and everything kind of calmed down, and I was looking for stuff. That's when I ended up booking my first vertical, and so the verticals have been very, very fun and nice for that period of time. And as soon as I booked my second or third vertical from New York, and that's when I was able to come back to LA.
Are you bi-coastal then? Are you still?
I am bi-coastal. I still, well, it's funny. This is like, you know, you hear about people having 3 houses and you're like, man, they must be wealthy. Well, I was making no money. And when I moved around all these places, I still was paying a mortgage in Alabama. I was paying rent in LA, and I was paying rent in New York. And that cleaned me out pretty quickly. But I was like, dang, it's like, you don't have to have a whole lot of money to have 3 places. I don't have that anymore. But yeah, so there was a period of time where where I was on the lease for 3 different places.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So
well,
now
you had real estate experience, so you could juggle those things around.
Yeah. It did help, but I couldn't sustain it long.
Well, and I understand that in New York, you also walked during New York. I'm originally from New York City. I was born and raised in New York. So you walked in New York Fashion Week.
I did. And that was cool. I mean, it's cool to do, but this wasn't my favorite, you know. But I still have friends that do all that stuff. But yeah, I got some cool like luggage and stuff. I did tote and carry, which was my favorite one that we did. But that was fun. But that's a whole different beast. That's you know, like, people fly in from wherever, and then all day, every day, they have different castings that they got to go in person and stuff like that. And so you're in a tank top and black jeans, and you're just walking back and forth at different areas in New York, hoping to be in a show.
Yeah.
So,
what was your favorite part, or what is one of your favorite areas of New York City? You know, it's funny when I talk to people about New York, when they say the city, we mean Manhattan. We don't mean the Bronx. We don't mean Queens. We don't mean Brooklyn. So, what's one of your favorite parts of the city?
So I lived in Astoria and then Upper East Side. As far as like the city, Manhattan, I loved Upper East Side because you're still in Manhattan and it's still just like Manhattan, but it's not as crowded and you can get around kind of easily. It's kind of more just like New York exists as New York kind of is, which was kind of nice. And I always I had a friend that owned a bar that I always go to every time I'm there. It's called Bill's Supper Club. It's relatively, well, it's not new, but it's relatively reopened now that it changed ownership to him. But I like that place, one, because my friend owns it, but then two, because Marlon Brando used to hang out there.
Oh, cool.
So it's always looking to a way to quietly manifest, you know.
Mm-hmm. And did you ride the subway?
Oh, I did. Yep, that's how early on modeling, I have a lot of memories of, you know, because they always want you to bring, you know, stuff to wear, and just I remember taking that suitcase, throwing it over the turnstiles, and then going through the turnstiles, and then all that other stuff. Yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And another creative thing, you were in at least one music video, which I saw. Spin,
I
where
was in Spin.
you were
I've
the
done a few.
dream guy.
Yeah, that was fun. That was in Philadelphia. That filmed in
Mhm.
Philadelphia, and those are super nice guys. But yeah, I did do Spin a music video, and that was a cool one. Just I was just playing like Mr. Dreamy, and I guess the girl had it was kind of more of a daydream, so she's kind of more daydreaming about this relationship, and while in school, and then we hung out at a record store and all that other stuff. So I still like
Mhm.
the song. It's on my I don't even know what to say. It's not my it's in my library. I guess I was about to say iPod.
It's in your arsenal of, yes, it's in
Yeah.
your. Well, and to go back to the New York stage for just a moment, you said you were almost in Wicked or trying out for Wicked, which of course is a
Yeah.
monster, huge, mega thing.
I was shocked because so the thing with that, and this might help out with kind of the background question was like certain casting companies, they'll once they get to know you, they'll bring you in, and if you do a good job, they'll keep bringing you in. And so this particular casting company, it's called the Tesla office. They do a lot of Disney and Hulu stuff. So I'd been working real hard to get into their office, and I was shocked when they asked me to audition for Broadway. I was like, I'm not even in the Broadway scene or anything like that. And the thing about Broadway people is like, if you're going against people that have been doing this singing and dancing stuff since they were -3, and I thought I was going to put it together in a week. Um, but I could do the acting part, but the singing was just, I couldn't quite get to a point where it was
Mhm.
whatever. But I would have loved to do it if I was right for it. That would have been a dream. But I was like, that was not necessarily a fluke, but it felt like a fluke to me. I was like, what are they doing considering me for this? So
That's amazing. I
I
mean,
hate,
that.
I hated having to turn it down.
Mhm.
And it's funny enough, my first roommate in New York, she was kind of like a friend of a friend from. Uh, she was like my best friend's cousin, um, and I got there when she was kind of up and coming in her Broadway career, but she's kind of a producer. And by the time I left, she's winning Tony Awards and stuff like that
Wow.
for the company that puts them on. So I didn't utilize that connection at all, but it was nice to have someone in the business that could, kind of help guide me on what I was doing on the TV and film world.
Hmm. Now, to get back to verticals a little bit, one that's interesting. They're interesting
Yeah.
titles, which are kind of very uh,
You know what you're gonna
they
get.
draw your attention.
uh,
For instance, one of yours was "Girls Help Girls,"
yeah.
divorce or die.
Yep.
That's kind of extreme.
Yes. That was a fun one. But I pretty much get my butt whooped the entire time. Because the girl's kind of a badass. It was really fun to make that one. But that was
Mm,
the first character I ever played where it actually affected me.
mm,
It bled into other areas where like I was kind of playing a despicable guy, and I didn't feel good. Like it actually bled into whatever. So like after that filming, I actually had to go take a break, which I've never had that experience before on any type of film set where it was like lasted. But anyway, that was cool because we got to do a lot of cool stunts. I got to dangle off a bridge and fall, and then a lot of fight scenes and stuff like that too. So
Did you do all your own stunts?
yes, yes, I did. It was fun. Yeah,
Mm.
it was a lot of fun. A lot of head slamming. I had to slam my head into the concrete and stuff like that. Get
That
flipped.
sounds like real fun.
Well, I mean, it's fun when you're doing it. It doesn't look fun when you're watching it. But
Mhm.
a lot of makeup. I was busted up quite a bit at the time, so I had to do a lot of like
Mhm.
busted face makeup and stuff like that. So it was a very fun time, and I like the production company I worked with, which is Puppy Love Productions. They're a very cool production company.
Fans love to look at bloopers.
Oh yeah.
Were there some in a production like that? I imagine something might have gone a little wrong sometimes.
Well, that one, see, on that particular set, it was a longer filming one, so and they had not a whole lot of time. So when it gets like that, it's kind of a high stress, and it's kind of like, I mean, some of those stunts are pretty, like, they could be pretty dangerous. So when that stuff happens, it does take away from the ability to joke around. I joke around a lot, and I've had to be told quietly, David, you're costing us time, so get it together, kind of thing. So sometimes it just depends on the production and how fast you're moving and all that other stuff. But for the most time, we do goof off in between takes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. When you're in a vertical that's the wardrobe is vastly different from what your personal style is.
Yes.
Do you wish that you could take something home from the set and like keep it in
Oh,
your
I do all
closet?
the time. I do. If I like it, I always ask for it. And most of the time it's okay, or you can at least buy it from them. Because some of the clothing on some of them are actually pretty good, and then the other ones I'm like, all right, why am I doing this? I had to, like, I was dressed like a Miami Vice one for one of the ones I did, and
Cool.
a real puffy shirt, and I had like a Versace emblem. That is as far from my personality as possible. But the one thing though is the wardrobe does help you with your characters and stuff like that. Like, if you dress in nice shoes and a suit, it does help you like have the right composure and stuff like that. So it does help here there.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you done? I haven't seen you do a Western.
I would love to. There's I know they're filming some, but I would love to, but I have not done one yet. I was being considered for one recently. I don't know what's going on with that, but maybe. But we'll see. That would be a fun one. Because the Westerns are right up my alley, from the South. Did a lot of time with a lot of land and cattle and stuff like that. So that'd be very fun.
Did you say that you've had a lot of time around cattle?
Not as much with cattle, but I used to do like land development, and I used to help my uncle manage his property and stuff like that. And he had about 500 acres and stuff like that. So I mean, a lot of tractor work and like road work and all that other stuff. But I had a friend in college would go to his farm, and he actually, that's what his dad did was cows, and so I helped him with the cows and stuff like that every now and then.
So you know how to milk a cow?
Oh no, I didn't have to do that. I just helped direct them, like open this gate, fix this fence, get them to go over here, kind of thing. I didn't have to do any of that.
Can you ride a horse?
I can ride a horse. Yeah.
Well, see, there you go, casting director. There you go. Because verticals are changing. We're getting more variety, and where would you like to see verticals go at this point in time?
So, there's something to be said. So the medium is so new. So sometimes you might get some complaints about how like the writing or whatever like that. But like the writing is the way it is to a certain extent, so that you can accidentally stumble across episode 46 and know exactly what's going on. That's why every time the guy enters the room, this is James Sterling, CEO, whatever, blah blah blah. Every time he enters the room. So there is a little bit of like that to it, but I would like to see like just a little more diversity in storylines. But again, they pretty much go off of like the 6 most popular archetypes, which is like mafia, CEO, vampires, werewolves, and there's 2, maybe pilot or something like that, and then there's another one. But so that as a business model, I get why they do what they do. But the nice thing is these other companies are starting to get involved, and so other cultures are going to start getting involved, and they're going to get better at making, they're going to get better at making like better storylines. But I think we just got to find a way to fit them into the vertical format with the writing and the way the stories are told. So I always thought like I'd like to see a rom-com and maybe some horror thriller type stuff, and I think those would work well because like with the 2-minute like episodes, like a 3-camera sitcom comedy, they have kind of a rule where you have to have a certain number of laughs per page, and like those little beats are good for like stopping points on the episodes. Whereas like thrillers and horrors have kind of similar beats to that. I don't know if you could do like a Benjamin Button movie like as a vertical, because I mean that's one of my favorite movies, but I just don't know 2-minute bites of a movie like that would translate well, or you do have to change it a little bit. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. And that's kind of a challenge for writers and,
Mhm.
to see how that works.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm going to go back to Michael.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions in the chat room or statements. And let me go with this one from Appreciates Talent, if it will come up. There we go. What was the most memorable incident you've had on set, either wardrobe malfunction, etc., or working with a brilliant actor, actress who has left an impression on you?
Let's
Those
see.
are kind of two different things, so
Most
you can
memorable.
if you want.
Let's see.
I'll put it back up here so you can read it again.
I've never really had any wardrobe malfunctions. I know, like, other people kind of have. One thing was, I mean, this is like we're following all the safety precautions or whatever, but we had to do a scene where a chandelier drops, and somebody got pretty close to being under it when that happened. That was kind of a scare.
Oh, that's no fun. No.
And then this is a funny one, but we were filming in a house one time, and I guess somebody accidentally kicked the gas in the fireplace on. And so throughout the shoot, we're like, why does it smell like gas? And so we had to all get out of the place and figure out what was going on. And then there was a guy. We were still inside and smelling gas, and there was an actor that tried to light a cigarette while inside the house. I was like, give me that. Like, what are you doing? I was like, take it over there. Like you can't light a flame when we're worried about a gas leak. So that was pretty memorable. And then what was the second part of the question? It was it left an impression.
Yeah.
I worked with a girl kind of recently, and I was trying to do a good job, and I have a tendency to get in my head and not know if I'm doing it as accurately as I feel like I'm obligated and have the capability of doing. And she was like, you got to get out of your head. Like, she's kind of like, get out of your head, stop worrying about it. You're doing it. You're fine. Like all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what good is all that going to do? And then it kind of like, reset me and whatever. So that was nice to hear, because, when you're hired, especially if you're playing the lead, everybody kind of depends on you, and you don't always feel like you're dependable or dependably performing in a way that's like up to standard. And so it's just nice to have that, have someone that you trust, tell you it's like you're fine, no one's like, it's all good, you're doing a great job, kind of thing. So.
Well, that's good. Okay, I'm going to do one other question. And this is another one from Appreciates Talent. It's asked, what is your preferred genre to work in? Dramas, musical, vampire, werewolves, mobsters, comedy, horror. I'm going to add sci-fi, fantasy, and all those kind of things.
So it's funny. I as far as verticals go, I've done a few of the werewolves ones, and sometimes it's always high stakes in the verticals, and sometimes they can even be kind of ridiculous. I found that doing the werewolf ones makes it a little less ridiculous because you're already dealing with kind of a ridiculous concept. So that's kind of nice.
Place, yeah.
Yeah. So it's easier to get behind as like a werewolf, even though you're doing goofy stuff like growling at camera and stuff like that. It's funny. But I screenwrite a lot too. So I write all the stuff I want to do, and I've written all those genres.
Oh, really?
Well. Yeah. So my favorite thing to do as an actor is I like stories that make you kind of think, and where the audience doesn't really know what's right, where you kind of pose like a morality kind of situation and let them kind of decide what's the right way to do it. So I guess that falls under drama.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'd like to do all of them. Like sci-fi, like I'd love to do a Star Wars. I think it'd be so cool to use a lightsaber. Comedy, I've written a few comedies. Comedy, I'd love to do a movie that's kind of like like the Will Ferrell, where you just see talking about bloopers, where it's like the goal is just to get as many people laughing as possible, and you just go free, and fire it off and see what you come up with. But so I'd like to do all of them, but for different reasons. Drama is probably where I feel like the most excited as an actor to kind of put yourself in a situation and try to live that truthfully, at least to the best of your ability.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Marcia.
Yeah, we talked about your wardrobe a little bit, but I also wanted to ask you, what do you think about what's your personal style like right now? What do you
This jeans and a t-shirt and maybe a jacket. And then I still have cowboy boots that I like to wear. So I very casual. I guess not. I don't buy anything. I don't like brand logos.
Mm-hmm.
I just like simple t-shirt and jeans or pants. That kind of thing. So my style is
casual.
My model coaches back in the day. They actually gave me a lot of flack for my style. They're like, no one can tell that you're in the industry. I was like, well, I don't care, like kind of thing. I know they're a little more bougie in New York than I was.
Yeah. Well, and I also understand that you have dabbled in one of the areas of show business that I find personally intimidating, but I would really like to do it too, is stand-up comedy.
Oh yeah. So I did stand-up comedy in New York for about a year and a half. But I did that I didn't do it to pursue stand-up. I was trying to screenwrite. I was writing a comedy, and I was not doing a good job. And then all the books that I was reading to get better at writing comedy were like, you got to do stand-up. You got to understand how to tell a joke on stage if you plan on writing it. And so I started doing it, but I really liked it. I never like bombed, but it was eye-opening to see the change between when I finally got comfortable. Like when you first get on stage and you don't know what you're doing, your presence is just small, and then you learn a lot about having a better presence, how to kind of control the crowd, because the cool thing about comedy is like they're there to laugh, like they want to laugh, like they're on your side. So it's like you kind of learn that, and you just get better at writing the jokes. You kind of figure out what people. Because you change a word or something like that, or you put a phrase differently, and it ruins the entire joke, whatever. Like that, it is very technical as well. But I performed at places like Broadway Comedy Club. I did some other shows all around the city, and even Greenwich Village. I'm not from there. I was about to say Greenwich again, like a noob. I know Greenwich. But it helped with my writing, and it was very fun. And the cool thing about comedy, which is different from acting, is like actors, we got to be professionals before we're ever even considered to be hired. And then you got to hope to get hired to be able to do your job. Comedy and music is nice because even if you're not being hired or you're playing studio or you're playing venues or anything like that, you can at least go out and do it on your own whenever you want to, that was nice about comedy. It's like, okay, if I'm not, I can always just go do it,
So you think you're funny, huh?
I don't know. I made some people laugh, but
who are some of the comics that you like, or do you like comics?
Oh, I like Nate Bargatze, which is one of the bigger ones right now. I like I can't remember his last name, but he's a Jewish guy named Gary Goldman, I think. And then I like what's his name, Shane Gillis. I do like Shane Gillis, and I like Nikki Glazer. I think she's funny, and I like the SNL guy, Marcellus. I forget his last name, but the guy on SNL. Do y'all know who I'm talking about?
On Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, his name's like Marcellus something. He's a Hispanic guy. He's really, really funny. And then I think I just like the real creative comics. I don't like the guys that go for hacks, and I call I don't like. And Dave Chappelle, obviously, him.
What about comedic acting?
I would. One, I'd like to do more of it, but two, like who are my favorite actors that are comedy actors? Let's see. I mean, not in all his movies, but I like Will Ferrell. I like Paul Rudd. When he's a comedy
Yeah.
guy.
He
And
has a
let's
new
see.
movie coming out, right? Paul
Yeah.
Rudd and Jack Black.
Yep.
Anaconda.
Anaconda.
Mm.
I like Ashton Kutcher's older comedies, his rom-coms. Even though they're dumb, they're goofy and fun. Vince Vaughn, I've been watching recently. I've been watching some of his old stuff. And then
Yeah.
one of my favorite comedies is Old School. With
Oh,
yeah, he's just
yes. With
yeah.
Is that the Rodney Dangerfield one?
It's the one where you got Luke Wilson, Vince Vaughn.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And they basically like to keep their house, they start a fraternity as adult men.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and okay, comedy, real life, stand up. I like watching. I have liked watching reality shows recently.
Yeah.
There are all types of reality shows. There are even comedy reality shows where you have to develop a comedy routine, and there are cooking shows and a physical challenge, and Amazing Race. If you had to be on a reality show, what reality show would you be on?
I don't know. I've been asked to be on some.
Ooh.
Most of them like the dating ones, but I don't do that. But
Doesn't surprise me at all.
no. But it's funny. I have a friend that's real tight with Ninja Warrior. I don't know if I'd be on it, but I've always wanted to ask him to let me try out the course.
Try out the course when nobody's around.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, because you're watching, you have a tendency to watch those things and be like, oh, like it's like sideline football coaching from your couch when you're watching like your team play. It's like you think you do a better job, but I bet it's a lot harder than it looks. I'm like, how are these guys not doing this? But I'm curious to see how I fare.
That's a good one. I hadn't thought about that one for you.
Uh-huh.
When a guest is going to be on, I kind of, after I research them, I kind of think about what reality show do I think they might do well on.
What did you think what David would do? What did you think?
Well, I thought a dating show. I mean, that.
And he said no, so that's off. Yeah.
But
doesn't mean I won't do well. I just I just don't think that it's a good look for the end result of what I'm trying to work for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There are the ones that are highly personal, and then there are ones that go mainly go off of your knowledge or developing skill. Earlier we had a guest who said Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, maybe that one. I don't dance, but
you don't. Well, you'd be perfect then.
I've never had any dance training or anything like that. But Dancing with the Stars would be a fun one, I think.
It would be. So, are there any other hidden talents of yours that we would find interesting to know about?
Well, I can ride a unicycle, and I'm a very good water skier. Of all those things, and I played most sports, but and I'm very good at building outdoor furniture. So, like in my free time, I like carpentry. It's a nice way to be creative and still work with your hands, which I appreciate. Because every time I go home back to Mobile to visit my family, I always look for a construction project they need done around the house. So just to just to do it. So I make a lot of benches, and I even built our roommates like a full-on tiki bar. Like you can go inside of it, and it has a bar and everything. Like it's pretty cool. Just fun stuff like that. So I'm really good at woodworking.
And you're a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
Right. So
yes.
there was a reality show. They only had one season on Netflix where it was a combination of engineering and baking. It was called Baking Impossible, and they robots and they had to build them into cakes, and it was very interesting. So, okay, that's my new reality show for you.
Yeah.
It's Baking Impossible.
There you go. Yeah, that would be fun because I don't care what it is, but like that's the nice thing about engineering. And I use engineering all the time for things that are not engineering. But it's like you're presented a problem and it's like a puzzle you got to solve. I like doing all that. Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah. Okay.
so cool.
I'm satisfied with that. And what do you have coming up that we're gonna see soon?
I'm about to leave tomorrow to go to China to film one real quick. So that'll be coming
Ooh.
out in a couple months. And then I just did a Lifetime movie, which will be out in the summer. So that's exciting.
Excellent.
Those two
So
things.
hush hush. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll have to look for that.
Yeah.
Michael, I think we may have to have him back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably back after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
great. Well, thank you for spending some time with us. It's
No
been a
problem.
pleasure, and I would love to see your stand up.
Oh,
So.
I gotta dust it off.
Thank
There
you.
you
Thank you so much.
And Elizabeth asks, it being close to the holidays, so I must ask, what is your favorite holiday foods?
I I love the sweets. Well, my mom makes these cookies, and we have a cookie decorating party, and so those are like my favorite thing to eat. And other than that, I like sweet potato casserole. We normally have that
Oh,
in my
really?
All
yeah.
right. I'm with
And
you.
uh, and usually I just use the holidays as an excuse to eat more ice cream. Ice cream is my choice of food. So.
Have you had it as an entree?
Well, I never referred to it as that, but I have had ice cream and decided I didn't need dinner.
That's when it's an entree. Yes, that's when it's an
Yeah.
entree. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I love it.
Now, just like to say thank you to Roger Noriega for the like on Facebook. We do appreciate our likes. We cannot see our likes on YouTube until after the show is over, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, Dave, is there anything else that you wanted to say before we close that we might not have touched on, or other projects that you're not allowed to talk about?
Oh, no.
That you want to semi-mention, or, you know?
No. I did want to say thank you for having me on. This is very, very fun. So I appreciate it, and I hope it was enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was. I think it was.
Oh,
we'd love to have you back again when some of your new stuff comes out.
Yep.
When our other co-hosts can come on too, that would be great.
That'd be awesome. Well, thank you guys.
So everybody out there, thank you for coming. We will see you next time. Please like, subscribe, and follow us so you won't miss any of our podcasts. Verticals. Then we're doing, we finished now for the season, but we were doing The Voice. We're coming up with The Arc and The Librarians, the next chapter next year. So see everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys.